Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. Jacalyn. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. Jacalyn at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. I'm the president, founder, and chief listening officer here at our network. We are 29 live broadcasts strong, and our numbers continue to grow show-wise as well as viewership-wise. So whether you're watching or listening on the live or the replay, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. Our show today is a woman's prerogative, a show for women, by women, about women. And we've got a wonderful panel, although it's very small today. That's okay. We are mighty in size, and we have a new full-time panelist joining us. So let's meet our panel. First of all, joining us from South Africa, I don't know how the woman does it. She just ran an incredible charity event, safari bike ride, and she's still working round the clock, and it's almost midnight where she is. Let's welcome JENETTA Barry and the Epiphany Process.
Hello, and it's East Africa. I'm in East Africa.
Yes, she's in East Africa. Nice to have you here with
South,
us.
East, North, West, whatever. But thank you, Dr. Jacalyn. Lovely to be here. And yes, I think every muscle in my body is in seizure at the moment. I get up and I look like I'm 150 years old, and I go, but I'm getting there.
I think in America we say that you have a bike butt from sitting on a bike. Is that right?
Oh my gosh, let's not even go there. You should see what I'm sitting on for cushions.
A big inflatable donut, maybe one of those inner tubes.
Close.
Well, we've got a new panelist who's joining us today, and she's in New Zealand. I've known her for, I think, 3 or 4 years. She's also my coach. She is the one who helped coach me leave my corporate role in 2020. We put together a 3-part plan, and here we are today. And she's also bringing so much beauty and light. She's a day ahead of us, and she's fresh out of bed, ready to go as we are starting to dwindle here. Let's welcome MARISKA to PREEZ.
Hello, and thank you, fresh out of bed. Not quite. I've been up for a couple of hours, but yes.
You look beautiful.
I got rid of the bedhead problem, so I think we sorted out.
Well, welcome as a full-time panelist. We're very happy to have you here.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you.
So we have other panelists. I don't know where they are. They're supposed to be here, but so the show will go on. Today, we're going to talk about things that motivate us. And this could be anything in your personal life, your professional life. So let's not put too much thought into it. It'll be fun just to have a chat about it. I'm going to start with bright and fresh over there, MARISKA. Tell us something that motivates you.
Things that motivate me. I think for me, there needs to be some form of creativity in it. And in creativity, it can literally be anything. So creativity in general motivates me when I'm thinking, when I'm doing things. It brings that spark that I need in order to do what I do. So I would say creativity is something that motivates me personally. And I would love to hear from Jenetta, although her brain might be switching off. I'm sure there's something that's motivating her to be here.
Absolutely.
Actually, MARISKA, you took the words out of my mouth. The moment I'm in my creative genius, I'm absorbed, I'm enthused, I'm energized, my eyes light up, and I get so much done. And that is why, by way of example, the charity I've just ridden a bike for is actually attached to my company. And it's all about creativity, theatre and the arts, and normalizing conversations around depression and suicide. And I've noticed every time I'm creating things that really stretching me, I'm in my zone.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. So let's see, for me, also creative energy. I just love getting up and coming to this desk, to this studio, and what am I going to create today? That really turns me on, believe it or not. And I just think to myself, how can I take what I've done in the past and leverage it with what I'm doing now? So that really motivates me. And when I see the numbers go up, if you saw how much time I spend on YouTube, because I have to keep the channel up to date, and when I see the views are going up and people are making comments, yeah, that really excites me. It used to be shoes and bags, now it's technology and views.
whilst you're wearing your shoes.
Now, you know, the funny
Whilst
thing
you're
is,
wearing your shoes?
I'm not wearing the shoes. I have this beautiful dress on, but I'm wearing socks, purple, black, and gray socks. And we're going to be leaving at some point to go back to Florida. And I was thinking, I have been lugging the shoes in the bags. You know, they're all stuffed and boxed and wrapped. And I'm thinking, you know, I don't even wear them anymore. It's so crazy. But if I were to get a big screen for my computer, like a monitor, that would be exciting, not the shoes and the bags.
So your values have changed.
Definitely.
Your sets of value. How amazing is that? I love it when I hear that, because it means A, that one's flexible to change, and B, that you're growing outside the edges of that envelope. And I go, yes, I love it.
Yes. Well, thank you. Well, high five. Yes. One thing I'll share with you is that my dad was really an expert when it came to technology, and people would reach out to him, family, friends, neighbors, and say, hey, what's the latest? And he would always sign up for beta tests and trials and things. And I have that bug. I've got the technology bug. I just love it.
Love that technology bug. And the thing is, with technology, especially if thinking about a big screen, right, for your system that you have, it almost feels like it's something that you can appreciate so much more because you're working with it on a daily basis. You're using it. It's not shoes laying in a box in the cupboard.
Exactly. You're right. You're right. Well, I want to just segue for a moment while we're talking about technology. So both of you are co-hosts here. You're both talking heads. You're both elevated listeners. So you do a lot of things on the platform. How do you feel about technology? Is it something that you embrace, or you still have a little bit of a, ooh, I'm not really sure. I'll start with Mariska.
Ooh. So I think for me, technology, normally the way my brain works is if it makes it easier, then I'll use it. And there's certain things that I enjoy doing the old-fashioned way. For instance, I still have a physical diary, right? As in, ooh, you guys can't see it. There you go. That I write my appointments on, which I know Google Calendar, doing all the rest of the things, they can integrate and all these beautiful things that could happen with them. Being on a few different platforms doesn't always work that well. And I find that taking energy to figure that out versus just putting it in my diary, I find it easier to just put it in my diary. But on the flip side, there's a lot of other technologies that I do enjoy using and figuring out and playing with. And I think maybe it's because some of that creative side comes into play. So that's when I really enjoy using it. So for me, it's a little bit of both, really. How about you, Jenetta?
Yeah, I love technology. I love being on it and ahead of it and hearing about it. also because, like you, Dr. Jacalyn, my dad was very much the same. At the age of 96 with macular degeneration, he had font that size on his computer with a magnifying glass, surfing the net, and he knew what an MP3 player was and an iPad and all sorts of things. But so I've caught that bug from him too. But you know, when I got cancer 22 years ago, I bombed out. I was so burnt out at the time that I went down with the cancer. It wasn't surprising I got the cancer. And that's because I had lists of more lists and even more lists on top of those lists. And I thought I was super organized. And when I got through it and I survived and I didn't die, I decided, no, that's it. I'm tired of to-do lists. And I didn't have, I got rid of my watch. I never looked at my watch, and I found out that I could always find out what the time was, and it took a load of pressure off me. And I stopped doing to-do lists written down. And then I got a laptop, and I had a basic to-do list on my laptop. And yet in the last 2 or 3 years, my little book of to-do lists has crept back. And rather like you, Mariska, actually writing down what I need to action and how I'm going to action it just makes it feel more personal and more tangible, more in this world. And so I've dropped out of a technological to-do list, and it's much nicer.
I love that. I wish I could say I'm different, but I've got all my papers here. I got pads and pads of papers. I'm like the queen of the yellow lines, notepads. So I've got my markers so I can cross things off. And it's just,
I think it's so much because, you know, it's separated from where you're working all the time, and you can see it. It's there. You can take it off there and leave your laptop or your phone here. It can go with you, or it can be packed away if you don't want to see another line on your yellow piece of paper. You've got lots of choices, and I just think it's more tangible and real. I so relate.
There's something about crossing something off the list as opposed to deleting. It's just
yes.
Yeah. I just wanted to say it reminds me also that Jacalyn, when you were putting out the pens, it feels like I can be more creative when I have a physical thing that I can work with. I can be creative on the PC. It doesn't have the same sensation. It doesn't have that same feeling. That, I don't know, there's a spark when you take physical things and you can work with them, and you can try things out. Yes, they don't delete as easily, but maybe that is part of the fun of it, right? You start drawing a line, it's like, okay, so this line is now drawn. Can't delete it. Now it needs to become something. Right? Whereas on the PC, you draw a line, you delete the line. You draw another one, you delete that one too. So,
yes, it's very true. Yeah.
And I think that actually you've actually hit another thing. You've done your whole load of things and you take them off and you've got no record. Whereas when you go back, you go, oh yeah, but you know, on the 5th, I actually wrote, I put it down there, and that's when I actioned it. So you've got a really nice timeline as well.
I agree. And I think there's something about seeing your own handwriting as opposed to the typed word. I don't know. It's more personal, and it's more, I really need to get this done because I wrote it down there.
Yeah. Agreed.
I think it has a therapy to it too.
But I wonder if our younger generation would be sitting here going, I bet they would. They'd be going, oh, please get over yourself.
Right. Just type it up and let it go. Yeah. I don't know.
Stop
That's
being
a good question.
such a dinosaur.
Well, you know what I think is also interesting, and Mariska is co-hosting with me. We have a fitness show that we're doing on this platform. So instead of having to actually go to a gym or somewhere to work out, you can actually work out with us right here, which is, I think, pretty cool as well.
That is cool. I must
Yeah.
actually get onto it.
And
I
JENETTA,
set the intention, never did.
you would love the exercises we just did this past few days ago on Get Off Your Couch, because we were working your glutes. And I know that your glutes are asking for more work right now. They're saying, JENETTA, please, JENETTA.
More, bring it on. Actually, I thought you were going to say you started doing pirouettes, and I went, really?
I'm not too sure about the pirouettes, seeing as we might get tangled up in a bit of wire.
Yes. We were lucky we were able to do step-ups on a chair with our headphones on.
Oh, yeah, that's the point.
Yeah, they're really good for you.
Yeah.
It's on a Sunday night, isn't it?
It's Mariska's Monday.
Yes, it would be your Sunday night.
Exactly. Oh, you have to be completely, it's got to be the middle of the night for you. What time do we do it? 4 p.m. Eastern time. So that's...
So it's the same as now. So it's the same as the show.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Don't you want to work out at 11 o'clock at night, JENETTA?
Yeah. I also want a divorce before I even get married.
And he's like, what are you doing now? You're doing step-ups on a chair? I don't think so. So we're talking today about things that motivate us. What else can you think of that motivates you? Something that our audience might not know about you. Be like, ooh, she likes to cook, or she plays the guitar.
Ooh.
That's a really good question, because absolutely everything I do is attached to creativity. But if I got more subtle about it, I know you're going to laugh at me at this. Sometimes when my brain is in overload, I just love unloading and thinking on neutral, playing a mindless game that doesn't need a mindless game on the computer that doesn't need any thought. It just needs timeless action. And I've got so used to the game that I'm just going ding, ding, ding. And I find that puts me into that zone. You know how, as some of you might remember, how I've said my creative ideas come when I'm washing the dishes or cleaning the toilet or whatever. And often when I'm doing a mindless game, I love that, because I go into that neutral zone and a lot comes up, and I process a lot. So often my time out goes into just indulging in thinking, feeling, or just bombing out neutrally for about an hour. I love that.
Yeah.
It's better than reading a book for me.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Mariska?
Wow. I think I have 2 bits, and it depends on what it is that I want to achieve or what it is that I want to be doing. So, JENETTA, I really appreciate that mindless stuff that we can do sometimes. So for me, the mindless stuff would be folding washing. I mean, you don't really need to think about folding washing. Hopefully you've done it a few times. Gardening to some degree, and other housework also sort of falls into that category. And that helps my brain to just, it can go and do whatever it wants to do and percolate on thoughts and ideas and all the rest of it. And other times I really want to find new ideas, and then I find I enjoy reading, and not necessarily self-help books or autobiographies or stuff like that. I enjoy reading fantasy or science fiction or something that really I can sort of go, okay, so this is what this person was thinking while they were writing the book. How might that apply to what I experience in life. And they might or might not be applications. But it's quite an interesting mind exercise for me that I quite enjoy as well. How about you, Dr. Jacalyn?
I have to admit, I don't read books. I have a ton of books that I have here, but I just don't have the time. So I shouldn't say I don't have the time. That's not where my passion lies. But my guilty pleasure that motivates me is when, before I go to sleep, I watch Survivor. And I never was a Survivor fan ever, but I like to watch it now to understand the strategy that the players are using, you know, how they're in this situation where they're uncomfortable and they don't know people, and yet they still have to think about the game. So I love watching that. And I also like the physical challenges and think, wow, could I do that? What would that be like? So I know that sounds crazy, but it motivates me.
I love that.
I love it. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but I love that you do it. In fact, I'd even say I kind of admire that you would want to do that. Because you remember when Karen Dark was talking about as a paraplegic going across the ice, and I went, whoa, I just couldn't do that. But rather like me saying I couldn't ride a bicycle. So for me, I honor and salute you for that, because it's not in my value system, but maybe it should be.
I don't know. I wasn't open to it before myself. I really didn't consider it. I also watched for a few years Naked and Afraid, the whole reason about the strategy of how they're going to stay alive. And our family was watching a show called Alone, which is really somebody's out there by themselves for a long time and what they're able to do. And it's kind of a fight against yourself as your body starts to deteriorate, you know, because you don't have any food, how your mind shows up and what propels you. And then at some point, some people are, you know, some contestants just say, it's not worth it. I've done it for 20 some days. So I just find that fascinating. Not a paid spokesperson, but if you want my address to send the check, it's on my website, usaglobaltv.com. So if you are relaxing, and JENETTA, you talked about playing games, and Mariska, just for the two of you, when you are in your best place emotionally, mentally, what is it you're doing?
Okay, so if I give an example, because it doesn't happen all the time, but my very best place mentally, by way of example, was when I was putting Insight, the theatrical production, together, and other productions before that, where I go into a zone where I feel like I'm a computer that's being downloaded from a mainframe somewhere else. And I'm either sleeping or I'm doing something, and I get a big picture of what needs to be created. I get it. And it almost plays out in front of me. And often it's very complicated. And I come out of that zone and try and start telling people, and they all go, you know, that glazed eye look. And then I have to bring it down to bite-sized pieces. And that's when I'm really in my zone, when I'm finding music, seeing the bigger picture, bringing the bigger picture into something tangible, and then knowing that people are going to sit there going, wow, I just love that.
Wow.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Are you in that place right now, JENETTA?
No, I'm in a sore place right now. And a muddled place. I came back, you know, we were a day late getting back because the aircraft carrier kept on saying delayed all day long, and then cancelled the flight and we had to find another carrier to bring us through to Nairobi. And then it's not safe to drive at night on Kenyan roads, so we had to find somewhere to stay. And then when we got back, we had guests because I was supposed to be back the day before. So I walked into guests arriving, and then I got Monday hit me. It was like, oh my gosh, you work. Okay, wait, that was a pile. You know, that to-do list, my book was just going, no. So I'm still catching up from that zone. So I'm definitely not there at the moment.
Well, thank you for showing up tonight and for doing this show. We really appreciate it.
No, always.
Mariska, what are you doing when you're in your happiest place emotionally?
I think for me, it is about creating, and I really enjoy co-creating. So creating with others and leaving the space open to see what happens.
Yes.
Because we don't always know what the other person is going to bring. And I find it so fascinating that if you create with one person and you try to create more or less the same thing, but not exactly the same thing, with someone else, it will turn out so different just because the energy of the two people coming together are different. So I always find it fascinating, holding very lightly whatever it is that we're going to be creating and almost discovering these little sparks that happen within the process. So for me, that I would say would be my best emotional, physical being state. And I strive to normally get there. I have found that, Jenetta, as with you, if there's a bit of a whirlwind going on or physically I'm tired, there's no way that is happening. So understanding my own energy levels is also really good to know whether I can or cannot participate in such types of activities. How about you, Dr. Jacalyn?
Well, Mariska, when you talk about co-creating, you and I are co-creating a series of children's books. And that's been a lot of fun. And for people who don't know, you know, we're a world apart, and yet we're able to be really productive. And I think we have kind of a system down from you having coached me, and it really works very well. So the first book is finished. I met with Red last night, I think. Yeah, so we're putting it into a dyslexic font. He's already done that. And we're going to be ready to roll, but we're not releasing it until November 26th. You have to build up the suspense. And Jenetta, of course, you are in the book, on the book, which is exciting. So we've got that. And then Mariska and I started on the second book, which is kind of a cool collaboration because now we're working with Madeline Chan and creating a song. The book is called Lady Ella's ABCs, and we're going to be actually performing and releasing a single that you'll be able to download if you're interested, someone who's buying the book. And then in the back of the book, there'll be sheet music so that you can play that song, so you can sing it with the kids. So that's exciting as well.
Absolutely.
I'm very excited about that.
You never know with collaborations where they can go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And we're collaborating for World Jenny's Day. I mean, it just goes on and on and on.
And I'm sure,
I love
Jenetta, I wanted to say, Jenetta, I'm sure that you've seen with World Jenny's Day, different people coming into the group will bring different ideas and different energies.
I so agree that, in fact, that's what I was about to reiterate, is that especially last year, there were a lot of people around with a lot of extra time. And suddenly I had a team of 16. There's the number 16, which features so heavily with Jenny. And I had a team of 16. And just as you were saying, like, I had Cindy Lou doing the Clubhouse 24-hour marathon. I just used to pitch up and sit and listen. And when it came to the day, I just pitched up. And it was wonderful to watch her step into her zone as she coordinated the whole world. And then the NFTs was another one. And there was a whole energy. It's where this bike ride was born last year. So a whole lot of people came in, ideas, brainstormed, and then left, which is the other thing, is going, okay, everybody has their time. Mm-hmm. And it's been more of a lone journey in terms of collaborating with putting it together. But it's been a bigger thing by being able to step in with you, Dr. Jacalyn, and USA Global TV. And now we've got a World Jenny's Day song. Oh, I don't know if you've heard. One of Jenny's friends who lives in Brisbane is singing the song. She's a beautiful singer. She's got amazing YouTube covers. Very professional, has a studio, is part of a group, and she's singing Jenny's song.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Wow. Do you know when?
So yeah, that collaboration.
Oh, I think Jenetta's frozen.
Mm-hmm.
So something I was going to say about collaboration is when I think about how my life was before the pandemic, and obviously I met you well before the pandemic, and I think it was 2019.
2019. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When I think about the collaborations I was doing then with people that I was actually meeting with, not too much collaboration, and all these collaborations that are going on and not being in the same place, not having ever met. It's really amazing.
And I think that's the beauty of bringing us back to the technology question that you had earlier on. That's something that we can embrace. It's a way to interact differently, a way to be differently and still create. I mean, we're going to have a physical book, one that you can page through, right? Look at the pictures, read the words, and we're not even on the same continent.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And it has a Library of Congress number as well, which is great.
Yes.
Yay. Jenetta's back. I thought she went to take a snooze.
It puts new definition to a power nap. I lost power to have a power nap.
Jenetta, while you were snoozing, we were just talking about the fact that when Mariska and I met, which was in 2019, well before the pandemic, I was just thinking about people I actually have been friends with and worked with and was in person with, and what I created there versus what I've been creating with other people I've never met in different parts of the world. It's absolutely mind-blowing. And Mariska was talking about the fact that we will have a series of physical books that people can purchase and leaf through. It's seeing too, and yet we're on different continents.
I think that is the most mind-boggling. I've been working this work for 15 years, and I've got clients from all around the world over those 15 years who I've never met, but it feels like I have. I think that's the big thing, is that it doesn't matter that one has, well, it really does make a difference when you do, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think this is a great point to segue into our show from earlier today. And Jenetta, I'll just try to really, in a very bad way, explain what we saw today. But Jenetta brought an incredibly brilliant woman to the platform today, and she's got an economics background. She's a doctor, and she has created your total village, I think
your
it is
global village,
global, total global, your global village. And it's an incredible way for people to be part of a different community, a new community in the metaverse. And I was just blown away by it. Actually, I feel like bringing it up. Can I bring it up, Jenetta? What do you think?
Yeah, bring it up. I mean, it's ingenious. And I'll show you my merchant house.
Oh, good. All right, let me pull it up. Your global community. I mean, your global village. I really need to put it together.
And yeah,
I have a
it
bed.
was
You can come
Jenetta
and
that needed sleep.
Yeah. I was saying, I have a bed. You can come and lie down and take a power nap too if you want.
You know what it is? Wednesday is the toughest day for me for some reason because it's such a long day. It's literally straight through. What am I looking for?
I think it's because Jeanetta's booked half the shows.
Jenetta, walk us through what we're seeing here.
Okay, so this is a bird's eye view of the meta village, and Annalise got the idea from she lives in the States in the Buffalo area, but they have this villa in France, and she went into this medieval enclosure and could feel the safety of the community of being part of that, and really took a leaf out of the book from medieval times, which brought guilds and communities together to share their expertise and to support and back each other. So this is all done by an incredibly talented person. I mean, I just love it. Now, that this is one of 100. This is the very first village, and it's one of 100. And I'm just over the moon that I'm one of the participants, inhabitants of this merchant village. And we've already started collaborating, and it's a whole different game when. So she's amazing. She goes, okay, we're going to, I can't remember the names of all, but let's say she calls it the community center, and it's a hot day, so we're sitting outside and we've all got the background behind us in Zoom. And she says, and now we're going to have a platter of fruit, and suddenly this platter of fruit comes up on the screen. And it really, it's the most wonderful way to have a little giggle that we're collaborating on the metaverse and having a platter of fruit that's not real. But it really does bring you together. And we start brainstorming, and somebody will come in and talk about what they do, and then everybody else goes, oh, that's where I can collaborate with you. And then there's a whole system to make sure that collaboration comes through and everybody is interacting all the time. In fact, here comes the cafe here on the left.
So Jenetta, if I can just interject one thing. So my understanding is that you meet and have a tour and then determine with Annalisa and yourself if it's a good fit for you to move into the community, and then you procure a home, one of these homes, and then you have it decorated the way that really represents you. And in addition, you get to, let me go back onto the website. In addition, you get to, you're part of this global square, and we're going to take a look at this podcast publishing. One of the people we've had on the show, a friend of Jenetta's, and how he set up his home/office. So I have to stop sharing and then come back and share again because StreamYard doesn't let you.
Yeah, just to say, he didn't do it. He gave all the information, and then a team of people went, okay, how can we show this in his merchant house? That's Woon. Woon's very special to me. He's been such a part of the World Jenny's Day NFTs, and he's an amazing podcast advisor, steerer, and so on. And so that's his mission statement there. And then if you carry on going down, what the team did was they took all his key points, and the whole of his house is full of symbolism. So there's 5 podcasts of his up on the wall with all the podcast earphones. Everything you see there represents something that is Woon and the work that he does. And it's ingenious because, you know, when he was the first launch party of the merchant house, and I was invited to be part of that launch. And it would, it's infectious. You're sitting there going, holy moly, look, he's got a little stage platform there to talk his work. He's got a little alcove there as well. Everything represents something in what he does and outputs. And it's so lovely to see it in picture form like that.
And JENETTA, correct me if I'm wrong, but so you actually have an avatar, and the avatar would be in this home office meeting with another avatar, and you actually conduct business as though you were in person.
Yes. I mean, you're not actually you don't see us sitting there, but actually they have made a caricature of each of us. I look about 20 years old. Every time I look at it, I go, this is rather nice, actually. But it's nice to fantasize sometimes. But so we do have a caricature avatar that doesn't come into actually physically into there. Maybe that's for the future. But there's always, like at the moment, we as a village are collaborating on LinkedIn. We've taken on a challenge to post 3 posts a week, written posts, articles, all of us. And there's a whole document attached to it and a whole procedure as part of endorsing and backing each other and growing our LinkedIn numbers. And, you just wouldn't do that if you were on your own. You just wouldn't.
It's amazing.
It is exceptional, really exceptional. And I'm still having mine designed because I should have had it in last week, but with the bike ride. So it's another one that's on that list that hasn't been crossed out yet, is because it's a whole procedure, a whole form. It has to be very carefully thought through so that everything symbolized in there really represents the Epiphany process and World Jenny's Day with the greatest amount of heart.
Mariska, what are your thoughts seeing it for the first time?
It is really, really cool. And what I was thinking is, how when we were looking at Wan's environment, how he has the little stage and you have the background with I think there was yellow on the wall, those wee little lines. So utilizing that as a physical background when you are talking to one another, it feels like you're in the space. Mm-hmm. So even though you're not physically in the space, right, you can sort of put yourself into that space with the different background sort of things that you do. So it really feels like there's a different type of interaction that you are part of, and you don't need to be physically in the same environment, which I found really fascinating. And I was wondering, JENETTA, seeing as you were on the bike for some time, whether a bike might have a feature in your place?
Well, of course, I came off, and I was saying earlier, I was the only one with a normal bike. Everybody else had e-bikes, and I wasn't trained, but I managed 41 kilometers. And when I did finally kind of extract myself with great pain from the bike, I decided I needed an e-bike because I can't be part of this next year and not have a bike and not having trained. So yeah, maybe a bike should be there with the cheetah that we cycled past. We cycled that tree, cheetah, us, bikes. Hello. That's very funny.
Nice to stay over there.
Yes, nice kitty. It's very shady under that tree.
Yeah, hope you had lunch.
I think it would be so fun that if each home would have a television and live streaming on the television would be USA Global TV.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, the moment I heard about this, Mariska, I knew Dr. Jacalyn would love this, but it wasn't time to present it. until now. And I just know there's such a platform here for USA Global TV. I think it will be amazing. And Mariska, just to let you know that this brainchild, Annelies, is Annelies Boyson. So she's South African.
South African sounds like.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I did email her after the show, so I'm looking forward to connecting with her.
Yeah, she's a pleasure. She's wanting to bring on Ronan, who's one of my fellow village mates, and I'll chat with her tomorrow about it and see what we can do. And also, I'd love to, perhaps we can have my launch party on USA Global TV for my, we'll see
what should we wear?
How we can do that. My tiara, I think. My lovely tiara.
Do you have one on now?
No, it's locked away in the vault, darling.
Oh.
Sweetie, darling.
Well, you know, our dear friend Madeline, she wears a tiara quite often.
She does. I'll have to borrow hers, I think.
It's going to have to be in the global village for you to borrow it.
Yes, on my wall. No, on Madeline's wall.
Yeah. Too much fun. Well, I see our time is up for our show, and I've really enjoyed this, and I thank both of you for being here. And again, Mariska, welcome as a full-time panelist. We're so happy to have you.
Yay.
And Jenetta, thank you so much for always showing up, always being so professional. And to our teammates who are not here, we are sorry you're not here. We look forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah, to our teammates who didn't make it, you don't know what you missed.
Exactly.
Yes.
And Mariska, I'm going to spotlight you first and put up your banner. If you could please let people know, how can people work with you and what are the services you provide?
Let's go with services first. So services I provide, I work with specialists moving into leadership and leaders moving up within their space. And we do this mostly through one-on-one coaching, but also group coaching work where that is appropriate. And you can contact me via my email, which is mariska@journey2discover.com. Or alternatively, please connect via LinkedIn and let me know that you got hold of me via USA Global TV, of course, and we can start our conversation.
Fantastic. And you can also find Mariska's Talking Head episodes over on our YouTube channel. She has her own playlist as well as Talking Heads 2022. Thank you. All right. And Jenetta, how about you? What are the services you provide and how can people reach out to you?
I assist people to communicate accurately so that they're not responding and listening to people from a place of fear and extreme judgment, because that brings out a different response out of us that normally doesn't work very well. So I assist one to start peeling that distraction away and becoming very clear, certain, and specific about whatever it is you want to express or whatever it is you want to hear. And you can get hold of me at theepiphanyprocess.com. I'm available, very available there. And also through worldjenniesday.com, which is the Epiphany Process's charity, where on the 10th of October every year, we soften and normalize conversations around depression, suicide, and their solutions using theatre and the arts. And if that inspires you, I'd love to invite you to join us and be part of that on the 10th of October too.
Thank you, Jenetta. The button was stuck there trying to bring you back. We also have 2 special guests next week, so I'm excited about that.
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
Are we allowed to know now?
No.
No peeking up front.
No peeking at the moment. So thank you everyone for watching and for listening. We did send out our magazine/newsletter. Please check your spam folder. Dr. Jacalyn at usaglobaltv.com. Unfortunately, I was in a rush and hit the wrong button, and the email is addressed to Jacalyn Kerbeck for everyone. So
Love technology.
What are you going to do? So thank you, everyone. We will be back tomorrow with a full day of broadcasting. Mariska, have a great day. JENETTA, have a great night's sleep. And I really appreciate both of you. Love to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.